Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
From parts unknown and into your home, this is the Groovy G Championship Belt Podcast. Now, here's your host, Groovy G.
Hello there, folks, and welcome to the Groovy G Championship Belt Podcast. On this episode, we take a close-up look at a Jmar-made WWE Intercontinental title belt. That's coming your way right now.
You're watching the Groovy G Championship Belt Podcast. For your official Groovy G Belt Podcast merchandise, check out www.groovygshop.com.
Making its debut in October 2011 at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, this version of the WWE Intercontinental title belt was one of the most short-lived yet most remembered. Made by Jmar, Joe Marshall, who had been making belts for the WWE during the Attitude Era, this belt was made by a CNC machine, not acid etched. So, areas like the textured pebble background are 3D, as opposed to the raised and recessed 2D that you get from acid etching. This design was a throwback to the classic Intercontinental belts that were used during the mid-80s, which featured that distinctive rectangular shape on the main plate with the prominent globe in the middle and the rectangular side plates with the grapplers. The only problem was Midwest belts, comprising of the original maker Reggie Parks and his business associates Dave Milliken and Rico Mann, owned the rights to their design, and after seeing this Jmar homage to their copyrighted work, contacted the WWE, who removed the Jmar IC belt from their TV programming, while Midwest belts sent them a replacement. If we take a closer look at this particular belt, starting on the left-hand side, we can see the male snaps with Jmar's signature stamp and his signature snapbox tooling. Moving across, we can see the smaller side plate with the wrestlers and the scratch WWE logo in the background. We can also see that 3D bubble texture in the background, a feature that was unique to this belt and one element that made it really popular with belt fans. And here's the main plate, featuring the familiar logo at the top, surrounded by the swirls, the word Intercontinental bookended by the stars inside a banner, the globe, and the words Heavyweight Wrestling Champion inside a familiar banner at the bottom. And we can also take a closer look at that 3D bubble texture. Moving across, we can see the large side plate, which is exactly the same as the larger side plate on the left-hand side, and the smaller side plate. And here is the white leather strap with Jmar's shell tooling around the border and the female snapbox area. And if we flip the belt over, we can see the black backing covering quite a number of screws, which again is another feature of Jmar made belts. So there we have it. That's the short-lived Jmar Nugget Texture WWE Intercontinental title belt. Now let's take a sneak peek at what's coming your way on the next Groovy G Championship Belt Podcast.
On the next episode of the Groovy G Championship Belt Podcast.
On the next episode of the Groovy G Championship Belt Podcast, we'll be taking a closer look at a Dave Milliken-made WWF Hogan 86 title belt. Until then, make sure you don't miss a thing by subscribing to this YouTube channel, and you can join in the conversation on Twitter at Groovy G Belt Show or on Facebook. Until then, take care. It's bye for now.